It's Sunday evening and I'm awake since Friday morning, mostly because of the new Legend of Zelda that just got released on the Nintendo Switch. The weather's been pretty awesome well until now, which is not as good, so my wife told me before, you should go out and enjoy the weather a little more. So I did. I took my Switch, went outside, and played more Zelda. Now, in case you're asking yourselves what kind of drone did we use for that particular shot that you just seen, well, let me get that clear for you. It's not a drone. This is the Insta360 One X, and you guessed it right. It's a 360 degrees camera. Now, there's never been a single moment in my life where I told myself, you know what I'm missing? A 360 degrees camera. Especially after I just spent many, and I mean many, thousands of euros in cinema gear, including the camera that I'm using to film this particular episode. But then my wife and I were online and we were looking upon some videos of some famous YouTubers to get some inspiration, see what is being used out there, and we stumbled on the Insta360 One X. And at that point, of course, we understand the pressure that consumerism and capitalism throws on us and the weight that it has on us daily. So being informed adults and, well, I would like to consider ourselves intelligent adults, we did what is expected from an intelligent adult to do in such a situation. We bought the Insta360 One X with priority delivery. Next day. The camera retails for 399 euros or $399 in case you're watching this from the United States, because in case you haven't guessed yet, money's pretty much a lie. And it comes with a few accessories of its own. An instruction manual, complete with the warranty of course, USB charging cable, a bullet time string, a neoprene case, which actually we find it quite important if you care the slightest about the investment you might have just made on this camera. And it comes with this tiny battery as well, which of course I only realize now that I did not include in that B-roll shot that you've just seen. I personally find the camera to be of a perfect sizing with its 115mm by 48mm with roughly 3 cm depth, which in case you have big hands like myself, it's pretty handy. It does feel quite okay, it's bigger than most action cameras. Also, I need to say, this is probably the smoothest camera I've seen in ages. On the specs side, the camera is fairly robust if we take into account that it is rather small and it's not the most expensive action camera out there in the market. The camera can take 18 megapixel pictures, although you don't really want to use this camera for pictures, and it can film at 5.7K on 30 FPS, 4K on 50 or 3K in 100 FPS for, the bullet time effect, which for those of you who are too young to know, it was a really big thing on the early 2000s when the first Matrix got released. The camera has an incredibly good stabilization, although the battery life comes at a rather short time with only 60 minutes of continuous filming. So far we haven't found it to be a problem. Truth be told, we've been using the camera for every footage you've seen without having to charge it in between. But if you're going to spend a whole day outside, or if you want to make some more heavy filming while you are traveling or vlogging, especially if you cannot easily access a power socket to charge the camera, I would recommend having 3 to 4 of these with you in case you're planning on having some heavy filming for the whole day while you are outside. One of the biggest differences when shooting with either a cinema camera or an action camera like the Insta360 One X is that you don't really have the convenience that normally you have with your smartphone, meaning that you can't just shoot and immediately post it in any of the social media without having to do some editing first. Now, thankfully, the Insta360 One X comes with a very handy app for both Android and iOS. Check out the links I've put on the description, which, despite some mild frustrations and a steeper learning curve than what you will find in most and any other editing software for smartphones, it's fairly rich on the tutorial side and especially for the community. The app works great, it has lots of learning material, it holds your hand fairly simply on how to use the camera, and it guides you as well on how to replicate the most famous effects that got this camera so known in social media. Honestly, if you want my personal opinion, being a creative mind, you want to try the camera for yourself, you want to try to make some effects of your own and not just copy everyone else, because that's where a camera of this caliber really excels, the possibilities. So if you want my honest opinion, get out there, start using the camera and come out with the craziest things you can do. Now, if you do so, feel free to send me your best works by a message or just leave them in the comments, because I would love to see what you guys are out there doing with the Insta360 One X. So let's talk about the accessories. Now, this is an area where every single action camera will be extremely disrespectful to your wallet, and the Insta360 One X is no exception. As a matter of fact, if you go to their website and if you start looking for the different accessories that are available, you'll find dozens of them. You'll see motorcycle bundles, bike bundles, football bundles, skate bundles, bungee bundles. Well, you get the idea, right? Now, the accessories we found the most useful and almost mandatory is actually two. The invisible selfie stick and the much bigger extended edition selfie stick. Which, of course, and for most men, and despite what they hear from their girlfriends and their moms, size does matter. Now, the reason why you will want the two selfie sticks is both convenience and creativity. Convenience you will get with the smaller selfie stick, since, it's honestly fairly light, it extends quite big, as you can see, and it's made of carbon fiber, which of course is where the weight comes from, and that's why it is so light. It's convenient because it gets fairly small, it fits on every or on pretty much any backpack that you might have with you. If you're traveling, and especially if you're a travel vlogger, this can be extremely useful. And you can just pretty much put it anywhere, even technically on your pocket if you would want to. Now, the creativity comes at large with this big fella right here, especially since you can pretty much extend it until 3 meters. You could technically go fishing with this big fella here, but it is actually the one that is behind that fake drone shot. Damn, it's a really long one. So, and of course, being that long, I'm not gonna make any penis joke, I'm better than that. Now, once and when you're doing that, just make sure to remove this cap right here, since otherwise it will be captured by the stitching of the app when you're editing the video, meaning that there will be a small black dot that will be visible on the video once you are editing. Now, one of the things that is worth saying as well is the reason why the little stick is called the invisible selfie stick. When you're working with it, the Insta360 app will automatically, while doing the stitching, meaning while getting all the different images together and giving you that cool 360 degrees effect, it will remove it automatically, which will actually, in a sunny day, create a very funny effect where you can actually see the shadow being casted off the stick, but it won't show up in the video like this video that my wife did while riding her bike. The invisible selfie stick retails for 16 euros and the bigger one goes out for 49. So if you want to get them together while you do your first order, it will add a significant amount, knowing that of course you will most likely have to get yourself an SD card in case you don't have one already. The real question here is, should you get yourself an Insta360 One X? Well, it depends. One, although price is relative to wallet sizes, the Insta360 One X is not the cheapest action camera out there, and truth be told, it's not even that action, since the camera is not waterproof or weather sealed. What this camera does better than any other action camera is that it takes away the worry of, did I miss that shot? Was I filming? Was I looking at the right side? Especially when you have, a GoPro on your helmet or whatever action camera you use. You don't really have to worry whether you were filming or not because, the camera is pretty much filming in every direction, hence being a 360 camera. So if you're a travel blogger or if you're a vlogger, especially if you spend a lot of time outside and you're not in the market looking for a main camera, then the Insta360 One X is a no-brainer. Plus, it's a goddamn B-roll machine. So the B-roll is all this tasty footage that goes in between of those low angle shots, shots close to the ground, landscape views, cool and crazy transitions. And the Insta360 One X opens up a whole world of possibilities by giving you that 360 degrees filming, which you can then edit on post to your convenience and really never again have to worry about a missed shot. On the other hand, if you're on the market to look for a main camera and to get yourself something to carry around at all times and to be filming like I'm using the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, then my recommendation is check out product reviews, see what's in your budget, get yourself a good quality main camera because that is really important. And once you have that, get the Insta360 One X.